The Young and the Restless, Spoilers. The unveiling of Lucy's darkest secret. Lucy was not the same girl anymore. Since her teenage years, the innocent, bright-eyed girl had slowly become a shadow of her former self. It wasn't just the pressure of growing up, nor the relentless expectations placed upon her by society. The root of Lucy's inner turmoil lay in something far more sinister: her dependency on alcohol and the terrifying changes it brought out in her. Lucy had started drinking to escape the growing discontent she felt at home. Her relationship with her mother, Heather, had always been tumultuous. Heather was fiercely protective of Lucy, setting boundaries, curfews, and expectations. But Lucy had always felt smothered, as though Heather's love was more about control than care. Heather's outright ban on alcohol was the final straw. Lucy began sneaking out to drink, hiding bottles under her bed and even in her backpack. Her friends had no idea, nor did her family. Lucy had become quite adept at concealing the signs of her addiction. But what no one realized was that alcohol didn't just make Lucy forget her problems, it unleashed something darker within her. Whenever Lucy drank, a new personality took over, one that was completely at odds with who she was in the light of day. This version of Lucy was impulsive, destructive, and merciless. It was as though she was a passenger in her own body, watching from a distance as this darker self acted out. This darker self thrived in chaos and drank to amplify its control. And the more Lucy drank, the stronger this personality became. Heather had begun to notice the changes in Lucy, of course. She had seen the red-rimmed eyes, the slurred speech, the constant irritability. Heather had confronted her daughter multiple times, begging her to stop drinking. She had even tried threatening Lucy by cutting her off from friends and keeping her under tighter surveillance. But Lucy's dark side only saw this as one more chain to break. The two argued bitterly almost every night, with Heather trying to hold on to her daughter while Lucy pushed further away. Then came the night Heather died. Lucy couldn't remember much of what had happened. She recalled arguing with Heather. No surprise there. Heather had found her with a hidden bottle of whiskey, and the fight escalated quickly. But then, Lucy blacked out. When she woke up the next morning, Heather was gone. The house was eerily quiet, and the tension that had filled every corner seemed to vanish overnight. Lucy didn't know why, but she felt an overwhelming sense of relief, as though a heavy burden had been lifted from her chest. It wasn't long before Heather's body was discovered in the river. The whole town was in shock. Who could have done this, and why? As the investigation unfolded, all signs pointed to Sharon, a family friend, who had been spotted near the river around the time as Chance Chancellor, the sharp and tenacious detective, dug deeper. The pieces didn't quite fit. Sharon's story seemed almost too convenient, and there were inconsistencies that kept nagging at him. The bruising on Heather's body didn't match the idea of an accidental death. There were no signs of a struggle with Sharon, and yet there were marks that suggested someone far closer, someone like Lucy. The deeper Chance probed, the more unsettling the evidence became. Lucy, who had seemed like a grieving daughter, was not as stable as she appeared. Her drinking habits were well known to a few close friends who had covered for her. Chance uncovered hidden alcohol bottles in Lucy's bedroom, signs of violent outbursts, and vague recollections from her friends about Lucy's erratic behavior when she was drunk. Then came the most disturbing revelation of all: Lucy's split personality. Hidden beneath layers of denial and fear, this darker side of Lucy had left a trail of breadcrumbs, and Chance was beginning to follow them. He uncovered journal entries where Lucy wrote about feeling like she wasn't herself, about moments where she would wake up and not remember where she had been or what she had done. There were scattered fragments about hating Heather, about wanting to be free from her mother's control, and worst of all, there was one chilling sentence: "If she's gone, then I can drink as much as I want." Chance wasn't the only one piecing this together. Phyllis, Lucy's grandmother, had begun to notice the strange changes in her granddaughter, too. She tried to protect Lucy, insisting that the girl was innocent, but deep down, even Phyllis couldn't ignore the signs. Lucy's demeanor had changed since Heather's death. Her drinking had gotten worse, and at times she seemed like a completely different person, almost as if someone else was living inside her. As Chance collected more evidence, he realized the horrifying truth. Lucy's darker side had killed Heather. It wasn't a calculated murder, but rather the impulsive, reckless act of a teenager who had lost control. The other Lucy, the one buried deep inside, had seen Heather as an obstacle, a barrier between her and the freedom to drink. In a drunken rage, this dark persona had lashed out, killing Heather in a moment of fury. And when Lucy regained consciousness, she had no memory of it. But the question remained, could Lucy be held accountable for a crime she didn't even know she had committed? And what would happen when she finally realized the truth? How would this broken girl, already on the brink of destruction, handle the knowledge that she had taken her own mother's life? As the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Chance knew the hardest part of his job was yet to come. He had to confront Lucy with the truth. He had to tell her that the person responsible for Heather's death was not Sharon. Not some mysterious stranger, but Lucy.